welcome back to the Dysfunctional Podcast. So, if you guys are watching the video version and it looks kind of different, maybe it doesn't. But if it does, it's because I got a new tripod. Yeah, so just wanted to let you know that, I guess, if you're like, Grace, what is this? But you guys, it's 2026. How crazy is that? Last episode I was like, I'm gonna try and be more consistent, but like no promises. And guess what happened? It is now a new year. That is how long it's been since I've recorded a podcast episode. Maybe I'll be better about it in 2026. Maybe I won't. Who knows? I feel like sometimes life just gets crazy, and I've said this many times before, but I am in college. So it gets really busy and I gotta get all my work done, and sometimes I just simply don't have time to record a podcast episode. But also at the same time, I feel like it's a time management problem. Like, I could definitely make some room to record. I just am really bad at managing my time. So maybe we'll be better about it in 2026. Maybe we won't. So today I'm going to be talking about some things that I learned in 2025. If I'm being completely honest, 2025 was a really hard year for me. I feel like I had to adjust to a lot of things in 2025, and mentally it was not a great year for me, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm really hoping that 2026 is gonna be a big like growth year for me. Yeah, I'm just gonna be trying my best to better myself this year. So like I said, I'm gonna be talking about some things I learned in 2025 in this episode, and then I'm also gonna be talking about some goals that I have for 2026. So the first thing that I learned is that other people's opinions of you are not your problem, and they simply have literally nothing to do with you. I've always had a really hard time with people pleasing and just wanting everyone to like me, but this year I feel like I really learned that no matter what you do and no matter how nice you are, inevitably someone is going to find something that they don't like about you. And those things, most of the time, have literally nothing to do with you. The next thing I learned is that it's okay to not know what you're doing. I feel like last year, like I said before, had to adjust to a lot of things. And I went through this, like, kind of crisis where I'm like, I do not know what I'm doing, and I'm stressed out because I don't know what my future is going to look like. And I think that that's something that a lot of people in my generation can relate to, which is feeling like everyone else has their life all planned out and figured out, and you're the only one that doesn't know what they're doing. But I can promise you that there are so many people that don't have it all together, and that's completely normal when you are young. And even if you're older, it's completely normal to not have it all figured out. And this example might seem really silly to a lot of people that are listening to this, but I was so stressed out because I was thinking about changing my major, and I ended up changing my major, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, genuinely, what am I doing? But I learned that it's okay to change your mind, because I think it's actually insane that a lot of people expect 18-year-olds to know exactly what they're doing with their life. I think that's so ridiculous, and it's completely normal to not know what you're doing and to change your mind. And the next thing that I learned is that being vulnerable is scary but so needed. I think I like briefly stated this before, but mentally 2025 was a very challenging year for me, and I've always had a lot of trouble with opening up to people and talking about how I feel. But I feel like this year I really learned just how effective that can be in coping with your problems. Is being vulnerable terrifying? Absolutely yes, but it's so needed in order to grow. And the next thing I learned is that nothing changes if nothing changes. And what I mean by this is you can't expect positive changes to be happening in your life if you're not changing anything about your daily routine. I found myself in a lot of ruts last year, and something that I really realized was that nothing was going to change if I didn't change something about the way I was living. You know, if you're laying in bed day after day after day, you're not going to see any positive changes, and things aren't just going to magically get better. Even if the one thing that you change about your day to make yourself feel better is simply just getting out of bed, that is a huge step. And just trying to accomplish even one thing during the day can make such a huge difference. And the last one I'm going to be talking about today is that prioritizing people who don't prioritize you will only drain you. I feel like I learned that one-sided relationships simply are not relationships. It has to be beneficial from both ends, and that continuing to put effort into people when you're not getting the same effort back is not gonna benefit you in any way. It's just exhausting. Now I'm gonna be talking about some of my goals for 2026. So my first goal is to pray about it as much as I think about it. I really struggle with not going to God with my issues as much as I should. And this year I really want to make it a goal, if I'm worried about something or sad about something, that the first person I go to is God, and I want that to honestly be my first instinct. And my next goal is to spend less time on my phone and social media. You guys, I deleted TikTok, so I'm already trying to work toward this goal, and let me tell you, I feel like I have so much more time in the day. I'm like, what do I do? I've been watching a lot of movies and shows, and I don't think I realized how much time I spent on TikTok alone until I just fully deleted it. And my goal with deleting TikTok is not only to be more productive with my day, but also get my attention span back, because I feel like I've become so impatient with certain things. And I feel like it's because when you're on Instagram Reels, I guess, or specifically TikTok, all it is short videos, and I find myself even scrolling past a lot of the videos before they're finished, because I'm so impatient. So I'm hoping that by deleting TikTok, I'm gonna get my attention span back. And then for my next goal, I kind of already talked about this, but it's just to be vulnerable and open up more. I've already seen the effects of how helpful that can be, so I just want to continue doing that, even though it is, like I said before, very difficult for me, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And then my next goal is to be an academic weapon. Now that I deleted TikTok, I have less of a distraction, and I want to lock in on all of my classes and get the best grades that I can. And then my next one is to spend more time in the Word. It's weird because I know that spending time with Jesus is something that helps me so much. And as soon as I open my Bible, like, I'm so glad that I did, and I never regret spending time in the Word. But for some reason, it's something that is so hard for me to find the motivation to do. And I don't know why that is. And I've heard a lot of people talk about how they struggle with that as well. So no matter how much motivation I have every day, I want to spend more time in the Word regardless. Yeah, because I know that ultimately that's what's going to help me the most. All right, that is all that I have for today's episode. I want to wish you all a happy new year, even though it is quite late. I hope that 2026 is filled with lots of growth for you as well. And I hope that you are starting this year off on a good note. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, whenever that is. I hope that you enjoyed, and I love you, and I appreciate you, and Jesus loves you even more.